like to wind down with books with your girl Kay. As you can see by the title, we are reviewing the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I'm super excited. This is one juicy ass book, but you already know the vibes. Guys, I could drink wine again, so I have a new wine here from the collection, the Luscious Vine collection. It's a semi-sweet wine, super freaking good. First time trying it. I had some off camera. But anyways, let's get into it, guys. So the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So it started off by introducing Monique. Monique is a 35-year-old biracial woman. She works at a magazine. She's doing low-level work at this time. You know, she's a good writer, but she's not where she wants to be, right? So it starts off by her getting a request to do a interview for Evelyn Hugo. So everybody, the agency, her magazine, sorry guys, is like, you know, why they requesting Monique? You know, she's not a top writer. So the magazine really wants a story. So Monique goes to Evelyn Hugo. So Evelyn Hugo is a famous actress. At the time, she's in her 80s, I believe. And she gets there and meets Evelyn. She's like starstruck, but then she started meeting, you know, discussing with Evelyn. Yeah, she started discussing with Evelyn, you know, why she wants her there. So Monique and Evelyn's talking, and Evelyn basically says, like, listen, I haven't done any interviews in years. I haven't been on any covers of magazines in years. I basically called you here because I want you to write my tell-all book. So Monique is like, you don't want me here for like an interview? She's like, no, you know, that's the only way I could get you over here, basically. So Monique is like, but why me? So Evelyn the type person, like, she being around the bush, but she telling Monique, like, listen, all will be revealed after, you know, I tell you everything. So Evelyn's on the type of timing where she's like, listen, before I die, I want to tell my story. Nobody really got the truth. You know, it was all, their truth came from the blogs and the different magazines and stuff like that. And I want to tell the truth because people think I'm a good person, but I'm really not. So when she starts sitting there, I'm like, yo, what did you do? Did you kill somebody or something like that? So Monique is hesitant because she's, at the time, she's like, all right, you know, she don't want to deceive her editor because the editor is expecting an interview and not a tell-all book. So basically, Evelyn's like, listen, you know, this is what it is. All the proceeds from the book is gonna go to you. You're gonna make millions. So Monique is pondering that because, you know, she don't have that much money. Her job is low level, and then she's going through a divorce. You're right. She's going through a divorce. So it's like she's going through marriage. She's hitting a midlife crisis. So she starts pondering. All right, listen, you know, this is the deal. I'll write the book for you. I'll listen to you. I'm gonna make sure that I interpret the book in your words so the people can see how you want to be seen before you die. But I'm gonna need something for you. Basically, they come to agreement on the terms. You know, Monique still want to keep her job while being able to write the book. So they come to agreement. So during this whole time, I'm trying to figure out, like, you know, a high-end actress is acting for Monique, basically a low-level writer at a magazine. Something, there's more to it. And Monique was figuring that out too. And I'm trying to figure out, like, yo, what is it? Like, you know, Evelyn's very strategic in how she talked, but she's very direct and very blunt and forward. So I respected that. But I'm like, nah, there's nothing more. So until the end, guys, and that shit gonna bust your brain, your noggin. So let's get right into who Evelyn Hugo is. Evelyn Hugo, originally born Evelyn Herrera. She was born a Cuban Hispanic. Yes, Cuban Hispanic. Her mother is Hispanic. I believe her father was Hispanic as well. I'm not too sure. If you read the book, drop in the comments and let me know. But I'm pretty sure the father was Hispanic, right? Her mother had goals of becoming an actress and making it big to make a better life for Evelyn. Unfortunately, the mother passed when Evelyn was young. She was left in the care of her abusive father. The father didn't pay Evelyn no mind. He was a drunk. And, you know, she could care less. So Evelyn was left to fend for herself, right? So Evelyn is the type of person that as she was growing up, her body was developing. Like, the front of her body and her face was developing. She was very pretty. She had big boobs. You know, her body was well shaped. The only thing that she lacked was booty. So she knew, like, you know, at a young, she experienced from, I'm trying to skip some stuff. So from a young age, she experienced, like, you know, men would do anything or get her what she needed if she used her body. Let me drink some wine. Right? So, we're fast forwarding a little bit. So the book is titled Seven Husbands. So throughout the book, she's had 7 husbands. So you may think that sis was really wilding and just marrying just to marry, right? Or because she was really in love, or she was giving it up, or something, whatever. But it's not what you seem. This book, when I tell you this book is juicy, it's juicy. So her first husband, Ernie. She met her first husband, Ernie, at the age of 15. So Evelyn was like, she needed to get away from her father, and she wanted to become an actress. Evelyn is very driven. She already knew what she wanted. She already knew what she wanted. So her goal, she wanted to achieve it. She knew that she was going to achieve it. She was manifesting, and she would do anything to get to her goal. So we're around town. She meets Ernie. Ernie is on his way to Hollywood, right? To put up lights and production. Little low-level entry job, ain't nothing serious or whatever. So she's like, listen, that's where I'm trying to go. So Ernie and her, you know, Ernie knew that sis was underage. Sis didn't really tell her real age. They got married. He didn't really care. He just realized that she was a beautiful girl. He never gonna get another beautiful girl like that. So they married, moved to Hollywood. They get to Hollywood, whatever. Sis is on the type of time like, listen, I'm not even trying to go to school. So she goes to a diner every day. She goes to a popping diner every day that celebrities, production people from Hollywood hang out, you know. So for months she was doing that. She would sit down, order a Coke, and until the owner was like, listen, you know, I see you coming in every day. I know what you're doing. At least you could bust some tables. So he gave her a job. On one fateful day, she was busting a table. She meet Harry from the Sunset production. Harry looked up at her boobs, was like, you gonna be something, whatever. Harry gives her a little job at the production company. That's how she get her first foot in the door, right? She's still married to Ernie at this time. So she gets there, you know, sis already know that what type of time she on. She knew the assignment, guys. She knew the assignment. So she's like, you know, they give her little commercials to go and get into. So she's getting her acting skills up there. You know, she's trying to make a name for herself. And then she saw a movie role that she wanted. So she goes approach the big boss, Ari, right? So Ari basically got a fetish for young girls, and he got a oral fetish. So she ended up allowing Ari to give her oral sex. You know, she get a position out of that. She get a actor role out of that, right? So now she's making a name for herself. So as she's making a name for herself, Hollywood basically told her, like, yo, you gotta change your image. You know, you can't be who you want to be, and this is where shit started getting real. So she had to change her name, which her original name was Evelyn Herrera. She changed it to Evelyn Hugo. She had to change her hair. It was brown, brunette type vibe. She had to change it to blonde. She had to change how she speak. She stopped speaking with a Spanish dialect. She completely forgot that side of her, and they transformed her into a white woman. I'm gonna drink to that. So anyways, they changed her into a white woman because she would get more roles. White woman was the it thing back in the day, and that's what they wanted to see on screen. And she fit right in. So that's where her whole identity start changing. She started losing herself. She's basically playing a role to get what she needed to do. But in my opinion, that role consumed her, and she lost every insight of who she was. And it kind of hurt. It kind of hurt me. You know, I feel like I was a character like, damn. Like, sis, you really it's like, you gotta change yourself sometimes to get where you need to go, and it shouldn't have to be like that, and it sucks. I don't know how Hollywood is, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people have to change things about themselves to get to the next level, and it truly sucks, because you can't really be yourself. Because when you be yourself, people don't really like you, and that's the God's honest truth. So anyways, so she gets her first big role, you know, the movie takes off, she's doing good, right? So now she's come up, she's like, yo, I gotta leave Ernie. Respectfully, she approached Ernie like, yo, this ain't it. I need a divorce. Ernie already knew what type of time it is. Ernie knew that sis was gonna leave him. So she compensated him. They split. That's her first husband. Second husband, Don Adler. So Don Adler was already a poppin' actor. He was big, you know, his movies was always hitting the box offices off the chart. So they met, and shit started hitting the fan. Well, I'm gonna pause right there. Sorry. So during this whole time, Evelyn meets people that she's cool with. So her and Harry become best friends. Harry is the guy that she met, the production manager, right? So Evelyn learns that Harry is gay. During that time, being a lesbian, being gay is not acceptable, and it could ruin your career, it could ruin your life, and you could get killed for being gay. So he's living a lie. She understands the assignment, like, I'm gonna protect you, I'm gonna hold your secret down, we best friends, we gonna tell each other everything. So Harry was a real one. Harry was my favorite character out of the book. Harry was really a real one. Then she meets another up-and-coming actress named Celia St. James. I'm gonna tell you about Celia St. James in a minute, right? So, what a minute is now. So, Celia St. James is an up-and-coming actress. So, one day she go up to Evelyn. Evelyn is a little older than her, and she's like, I'm up and coming, but if I'm seen with Evelyn, my name gonna be out there. So she approached Evelyn like, yo, let's go get ice cream. So Evelyn already know the vibes. So Evelyn's main thing is that she's okay. Evelyn's okay with using people to get what she need, and people using her to get what she need. But Evelyn's more straightforward about it. Like, she's very blunt. She's gonna tell you what it is. Whereas she don't like people who sneak behind her back to do it. Just be straight up and whatever. So on the way to the ice cream place, Evelyn realized that Celia's trying to take her to a no-name ice cream place where paparazzis be so they could get pictures. So Evelyn confronts her about it, like, yo, I already know what you're doing. And then Celia was like, all right, so if you know what I'm doing, do you have a problem with this? Evelyn basically tell her, like, this is what it is. If you're going to do it right. I'm not mad at you. I would use you too. So Celia is very taken back that Evelyn is straightforward. She really liked that. So they started getting, vibing, like, understand. Evelyn started understanding, like, she really liked Celia. Celia really like her, like, on a friend at the time, a friendship level, right? And at the time, a lot of the other actresses didn't like Celia because Celia was pretty, but she had talent. Those other actresses had talent, but they wasn't pretty, or they was pretty but had no talent. You get what I'm saying? So they start getting close, developing a friendship. So pause. Now let's go back to Don. So now Don and Evelyn get married during this time, and this is the first real man that Evelyn ever loved. Like, Evelyn felt a connection with him. She was in love with him. She saw long-term goals, and she wanted to build a family with him. And that never happened for Evelyn, because for when any sexual experience Evelyn had, that's what it was, a sexual experience. And she was just doing it because it was gonna get her to where she needed to go. So 2 months after they get married, Don started beating her ass. So he beating her and stuff like that. He's the type of egotistical narcissist who would basically get mad when he's not on the center of her attention. That's what it is. So at the time, his movie started taking a hit. It wasn't getting the numbers that it needed. He wasn't getting the recognition. He wasn't winning awards. So he started displacing his anger onto Evelyn. So Evelyn is just like, yo, you hitting me. He say sorry. She take him back. And she can't figure out, like, what's the problem? So he gets to the point where he asks Evelyn to not be an actress anymore, to walk away. So Evelyn's like, yo, what? Nah. So he hit her again. He kept doing that. It was a repeating cycle. So she was getting tired of what she loved him, and she thought she could change him. She thought she could mold him into a better man, that he was going to stop. Nah, he was not going to stop. You cannot change a man like that. It's not going to happen. So they go to a party one day, all the big known actresses there, right? Come to find out, another one of Evelyn's co-host that she was cool with pulls Evelyn to the laundry room, like, yo, your husband upstairs cheating with somebody, he cheating on you. So that's when she found out that, he cheating, and then she found out that he been cheating on her for a minute. And then next thing you know, she also tells Evelyn, like, yo, I don't know if you heard, but the blogs is talking about you and Celia, how y'all spending too much time together, that y'all might be undercover lovers and this, that, and the third. So Evelyn's just like, what? So she come to find that the co-host, I forgot, co-star, whatever what you want to call it, tell Evelyn, like, you didn't know Celia likes girls. So Evelyn is taking it back, like, what? But it's not a what of, like, a disgust. It's a what, like, damn, I just found it, like, low-key, my secret crush, like, girls. So she's like, okay, whatever, acting shocked. So the co-actors leave the laundry room or whatever. Sia comes in. Evelyn straightforward, like, you like girls? So Sia like, yeah, whatever. So Evelyn, they end up kissing. And then, they walk back out. So I'm like, oh, sis is about to get the woman. Right? So then so after that, Evelyn is, crushing. You just kissed your low-key crush that you wanted or whatever. At the time, the blogs was also attacking Evelyn for not having children, right? So they're like, oh, Evelyn is selfish. She only care about her career. She don't care about her marriage, and she don't want to have a family with Don. So Evelyn's on the type of time like, yo, Don is cheating. Her and Don not working out. She faked a story to the blog, basically saying that she had a miscarriage, right? And that's why she can't have children, so for sympathy and to get the heat off of her and Don, so they could, they could save face. So Don hit her with he wanted a divorce. So Evelyn is mad that, Don hit her with divorce first, because she should have been did that. And I'm like, yo, you should have been did that. You gonna let this asshole hit you with divorce papers first? Not only did he serve her with divorce papers, let me tell you what this man did, yo. He blackballed her career. She couldn't get a job in Hollywood after. He ran her name through the dirt. And I was just like, yo, for what? For what? So now she's on the outs of Hollywood. Nobody would hire her for a movie. And it was just crazy. So at the time, Harry, like I said, Harry's a real one. So Harry's just like, yo, I got you, right? So during that time, Celia and Evelyn start getting close. They start recognizing, that they like each other. At first, they try to play it off like it was just a kiss. And then, the little touch here and there. Then, come here, baby. So they start becoming an item or whatever. So Harry's like, I got you, Evelyn. So Harry ends up calling his friend in France, like, yo, I got an actress, can you see what, you could do for her, whatever. So she go on a couple job interview, basically job interviews with producers, and she made a producer name. I forgot his name because, hold on, I don't want to spoil it. His name is Max. His name is Max Giller, right? So Max cast her in another movie, international movie. It started getting recognition. That's how Evelyn ends up getting back into Hollywood, right? So during that time, again, Celia and her is a thing. So the blogs end up finding out, like, yo, why they spending so much time together? So they come back again with this gay shit. So they come back again, right? Again, if the blogs was to find out that Celia and Evelyn was together, it could not only ruin their careers, it could ruin their personal life, and they could be killed or jailed. Because during that time, it took time during the Stonewall riots, if you're not familiar with that, in New York, where the bar was attacked. A gay bar was attacked and stuff like that, all that, right? So it takes time during that period, and it's not socially acceptable to be a lesbian woman or a gay man. So they had to hide their relationship, they had to hide everything they was doing, like they had to come and go at different times or whatever. So the paparazzi started feeling like Evelyn spending a lot of time with Celia spending a lot of time with Evelyn. So they started getting wind of it. So to take the heat off of them, Evelyn decides that, she's going to marry a husband, because it would deceive the public. Like, how y'all saying that she's gay and she's married? You get what I'm saying? That was a smart move. Let me tell you something. Evelyn was very strategic. She was a planner, and she had a solution to almost every problem. Her thing was, she was stuck in the mindset that she had to use her body to get what she needed to get, or what she needed. But for me, I felt like, all right, I understand why you did it in the beginning, as far as like marrying Ernie, having sex with the director. I understand that sometimes if you don't have nothing and your body's developing, this is what men want, and men sexualize women. Sometimes, I may not agree with it, but I understand that some women use their body to do what they gotta do. At the end of the day, it is what it is. That's what it is, If that's your preference, that's your preference. Just be safe with doing it, right? So Evelyn understood that. But my point is, once Evelyn became an actress and once Evelyn got her name out there, once Evelyn started making money, she no longer needed to use her body to get what she needed. At that point, she was a known actress. She was coming up. When she entered the room, she demanded everyone's presence, everyone's attention, and it was just like her presence alone could turn heads. You get what I'm saying? And then her body was next. So I felt like at one point she didn't need to do it, but she kept doing it because that's all she knew. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes it's hard to break that mindset. And again, she was technically in a role. She was playing another person. So it is, that's what it was. So that's how I feel. So anyway, so she goes to a concert. She meets Mick Rivera, right? Mick Rivera is a singer. He sees her in the crowd like, I'm going to marry you. They start talking or whatever. So Celia and Evelyn discuss that. All right, Evelyn, you're going to marry him just to get the heat off, but we still going to be together, this and the third. So Evelyn is with the shits, right? But the one thing that she didn't know, or Celia didn't know, was that Evelyn was going to sleep with Mick. Evelyn assumed that Celia knew that she was going to sleep with Mick. Celia was on the type of timing, right, that, she didn't want no man or having sex with Evelyn. She didn't want no man touching Evelyn. She didn't want none of that. And because Celia is a straight up lesbian, where Evelyn was a bisexual woman, sorry, God, I can't talk today, woman, but she was only bisexual, or she was only gay for Celia. Like, she loved men, but she had a connection and love for Celia. She never felt that way about any other woman, if you understand what I'm saying, right? So I'm gonna pause there. So during this story I'm telling, right? So Evelyn is telling her story to Monique. Again, Monique is the writer for the magazine. So during the time, Monique is still trying to figure out like who Evelyn is, why she wants me here, and this, that, and the third. So they going back and forth, discussing like what can be said, what cannot be said. So Evelyn's main thing to Monique is that she wanted Monique to capture her story in her words. And one of the things that Evelyn wanted Monique to capture was like, I am a bisexual woman, because Monique had said to Evelyn, all right, so you want the public you want to finally come out as gay, and Evelyn was like, you're not listening to me. I am a bisexual woman. Say what I say in my words and get them to see the picture. So that's that. We're not going to really come back to Evelyn and Monique at this. Yeah, Evelyn and Monique right now until the ending. But I will say during this time, Monique is going through a divorce, and she's married to a white man. So at the time, she's married to a white man, and she thinks that she feels sad about the divorce and losing her husband. But at the same time, I'm gonna just say this part. In the end, she realizes that she's not upset that the divorce failed. Like she's not upset that she lost her husband because she didn't really love him like that. She's just upset of like failure. That's what it was. And I understand that, and I'm glad that Evelyn could do that for Monique, because she was going through it and this, that, third, and then she finally told her ex-husband, like, because he wanted to get back together. She was like, listen, nah, I don't love you, we're not meant for each other, and I hope you find somebody. So that's that, right? Because you're going to understand why Evelyn wanted Monique to do the tell-all book. All right, so back to the third husband. So Evelyn marries the third husband, and during that time, when they get married, she tries to reject him, right? So she rejects this as far as, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. So she tries to reject him as far as the sex goes. She didn't want to have sex with him or none of that. So the next day they ended up eloping. So they ended up eloping in Vegas, and then next thing you know, they had sex that one time. And then he was like, oh, nah, this not for me. So they end up getting a divorce. So after they get a divorce, Evelyn finds out that she's pregnant. I'm like, damn, sis, if you're going to have sex, at least protect yourself. Gosh. So she has to tell Celia. Celia's like, you slept with him? And I'm like, you slept with him? And then Evelyn's like, yeah, I assumed that you knew. So Evelyn's just like, it is what it is. Like, it's sex. I'm pregnant. That's that. Celia gets mad. She's like, I can't take this no more. She starts going crazy. She's like, you know, I can't do this no more. You sleeping with a man, I can't handle it. And I understand that. Like, I understand that. At the time, because Celia's a full-blown lesbian, she can't understand the life of a bisexual woman, or why the actions that Evelyn partook in. She was doing that, but Celia was just like, you know, she couldn't grasp the situation at hand. I understand that you want to be with Evelyn, but the times that y'all living in, it just wouldn't work. Like, y'all careers will go down, y'all life will be turned upside down. Evelyn was on the type of time, like, she loved Celia. Like, she wanted the best for Celia. She wanted Celia to reach her full potential. She wanted her to get all the awards. Like, she was so happy for her, and Evelyn refused to come out as lovers because she knew what it would do to Celia's career. And mind you, she had already been blackballed, so she didn't want that for Celia. So everything that Evelyn did was to protect Celia, but at the time, Celia couldn't see that. Celia was selfish, and she just only cared about the love part. But it's like, yo, logistically, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Like, you know, y'all could be killed. So Celia breaks up with Evelyn. Evelyn goes to Mexico, gets an abortion. That's that. Her fourth husband name is Rex North. So Rex North is an actor, and you know, he's working with Harry and Evelyn on a movie. So at the time, you know, Harry's like, you know, he's funding the movie, he's producing the movie, so the movie needs to be good. So they had to plan, Rex, Harry, and Evelyn had to plan, like, listen, we just gonna get married, and it's gonna go crazy. And for some reason, the blogs was loving that Evelyn kept getting married. Like, she just had the juice. So Rex and Evelyn get married. Their movie does well. They take the marriage takes off. You know, they come to agreement. Rex is having sex with whoever he want. Evelyn is doing her thing. Both of them saved their careers, right? So it just so happened that one day Rex comes to Evelyn and was like, listen, I fell in love with a woman. She is having my baby. I want a divorce because I want to marry her. So Evelyn's like, you know, we did what we set out to do. It's understandable, but how is that going to work? So they come up with a plan to be like, they was both cheating on each other during the time that they was married. And the girl got pregnant, and then he fell in love with Joy, which is the girl, and Evelyn ends up marrying her best friend, Harry, right? So, mind you, Harry is gay. So, Harry agrees to it because Harry low-key wanted the family structure. Like, Harry knew that he was gay, but he wanted a family. Like, he wanted a child. He wanted that. And Evelyn and Harry trust each other. So, you know, this is one marriage that Evelyn was okay with being in because it was genuine love between them, and they was, you know, friends, you know, they're friends, so it could work. So she divorces Rex, you know, everything is cool between them. She marries Harry. So everybody's like, oh my God, Harry and this girl was bound to happen, whatever. So this was Evelyn's longest relationship ever. Well, not relationship, but marriage. Her and Harry was married for 15 years. So during that time, her and Celia reconciled. So they forgave one another. They talked about it, you know, and they was just lovers. Like, you know, that love that you love somebody and they go away, you still miss them, and y'all just keep coming back together because you guys are meant to be. That's what it was. But Evelyn was on the type of time where she was also focused on her career, but she really loved Sid. But at the same time, it's just like Evelyn was living in reality, where Celia was living in another universe where things was like a happy home, and it's just like Evelyn was a real, like, you know, it's not gonna happen. So the reconcile, this is where shit was really, I was really happy reading this part, right? So at the time, Evelyn is married to Harry, right? And Celia ends up getting engaged to a man named John Braveman, right? This is where shit get juicy, guys. So, not only is Celia married to a man, but Celia is married to a man, John Braveman, that is in a relationship with Harry, who Harry is Evelyn's husband. So the four of them come together and they decide to move to New York. They moved to New York where they live. They got two separate apartments, right? So it just looked like friends who marry and who married friends, right? Celia and Evelyn's together. Harry and John's together, but they're living under the illusion that, you know, they're married. Harry's married to Evelyn, Celia's married to John, right? So they live happily. They're living a good life. That's what it is. So during that time, the Stonewall riots is going on, and Celia's still in the type of time where she wants to come out and say that she's gay and go, you know, be a part of the Stonewall riots and stuff like that, where Evelyn, John, and Harry's like, yo, you know we can't do that. John is a football player. You know what Harry and Evelyn doing. It's just like, you know, we could die for this and stuff like that. It's not socially acceptable. So Celia is just upset, and they decide, like, their way of showing support was donating to the LGBTQ communities and other organizations that help people who are gay, lesbian, transgender, all that extra stuff. All that stuff, right? Not extra stuff. All that stuff. Right? So what was I? So yeah, so during that time, you know, things are going good. They're living a happy life, and I was just like, oh shoot, like I love to see it. I'm like, Harry is in love with John, first man that he ever loved. They're living happy. Evelyn City is doing good. They're not fighting, and you know their careers are still doing good, right? So one day, Harry approached Evelyn, was like, listen, I want a child. Evelyn's like, okay, whatever, I want a child. So Evelyn mentions it to Cecilia. Cecilia low-key was like, is this what you want to do? And Evelyn was like, yeah. So Evelyn told Cecilia, like, this is what has to be done. So she had to sleep with Harry to have her child. They end up having a child. Celia went along with it, but she wasn't okay. Like, Celia sacrificed, I'm not gonna lie, Celia sacrificed a lot of her emotions, and her happiness for Evelyn to do what she wanted to do, but Celia never spoke up, and that was her issue. Like, if you wasn't okay with it, you should have said that. You get what I'm saying? But you say you're okay with it, and then after you have a problem, stuff like that, you couldn't handle it. That's where things started going wrong. But I understand why she did it. Like, she wanted to make Evelyn happy, and you know, she understood that Harry and Evelyn wasn't an item, and they both was gay. But at the time, it's just to come back to that Evelyn's having sex with men. Like, Celia found that disgusting, but it's just like, you gotta understand. I was saying that, in my head, I'm saying to Celia, like, yo, you gotta understand, like, you are a gay woman, straight, full-blown lesbian. So men to you are nasty in a way, like, you can't stomach the thought of having sex with a man. Where you gotta understand, like, Evelyn is a bisexual woman. She's gonna like men, she's gonna like women, but she was only bisexual for you. And Celia never grasped that concept. I'm like, yo, sis, you got the girl. You know she loved you. You know she was protecting you. Like, what is the issue, sis? Like, come on. But I understand. That's why a lot of people don't like bisexual women or bisexual men, because they always feel like they're going to choose one gender over another and this and the third. It don't even be like that. You know what I'm saying? We love each other. That's it. We don't love more than, that's it. So yes, so they have a child. Celia feels like, you know, she's okay with it. She starts, you know, she takes part in helping raising, I forgot the child's name, Connor. That's the child's name, Connor. I believe that was her name. Whatever, the child name not important. So, you know, Celia's putting up with the idea of the family because of Evelyn. So they live in happy ever after, and then Evelyn goes and fuck it up. So let me tell you. So Evelyn, you know, they get it older. So Evelyn, you know, had a role in a movie. So the role in the movie actually involved her ex, Don Adler. Don ended up apologizing to Evelyn about all his behavior and all that. So she forgave him, and then they had to do a movie role together, right? So in the movie role, Evelyn had to act like she's having sex with Don for the views and to really show her body, right? Because, you know, during this time, men would sexualize a woman. So Evelyn knew that Celia would not be happy with it, and she went ahead and did the sex scenes with Don before talking to Celia. So after that, it was very explicit, and it really showed because this sex scene showed the woman initiating sex, and during that time in Hollywood, men had a problem with women initiating sex, and for the love of me, I'm like, yo, if your woman is initiating sex, you should want that. Like, for you to always have to initiate sex is boring. Like, for a woman to enjoy sex, it was a problem. Why is it a problem when women enjoy sex? Answer that question. Drop in the comment. Us women can enjoy sex. Like, what is the issue? And that's what the book was for. Well, it wasn't really focused on that, but it was a lot of that in it. So she went ahead and did it anyway, but without speaking to Celia. Next thing you know, sis decided that she gonna talk to Celia about it after the fact that she did it. So she mentioned to Celia, like, hey, they want me to do a sex scene. It's gonna show me initiating sex with Don or whatever. So Celia was like, I understand that you have to do it. But then Celia started breaking down crying. I understand that you have to do it, but I don't want you to do it. So Evelyn thinking that she was out of the gates with that one, and then she was like, she had to tell Celia that she already went ahead and did the role. And did the role, whatever. So Celia was like, I just can't take it no more. I can't stomach the fact that you have sex with men. It's not for me. I love you. I can't do it no more. You hurt me. This, that, and the third. They had a big ass argument. So Celia left her for good. So this time, when this is the second time Celia left her, Evelyn went to flew back because she had. I'm tongue-tied. Celia ended up going back to LA. Evelyn chased her to LA, begging her to, be together. Celia's like, I can't do it no more. And Evelyn, at this time, Evelyn is no longer willing to hide, their relationship or whatever. So Celia's just like, I can't do it no more. I can't stomach the idea of you having to have sex with men. You hurting me. It's breaking my heart. So they break up. And then after that, it just so happened that Harry and John's life is turned upside down. John ended up dying. So, the happy ever after is not happy ever after. So, after this, Evelyn keeps using her body to get the things that she needs. At a point in time, she no longer had to use her body, but she kept doing it. And it was just paining me to read that, sis, stop. Just stop. But sometimes when you're in that, you can't just stop. And she had other options. She never had to use her body. She had connections. She had her presence, all that. But she wanted to keep going because her main goal was to win an Oscar. So at that point, Celia had won an Oscar. She didn't win an Oscar, but her movies was hitting big, and she knew that one day she was gonna win an Oscar. So during the time Evelyn and Celia was broken up, they kept tabs on each other. Like, Evelyn followed Celia's life, Celia followed Evelyn's life, and it was just like they was true lovers. And I wanted that relationship to work so bad. I'm like, when you see true love, you know what it is. It's just so many obstacles that's in the way. And both of them was stubborn, and both of them was petty, and nobody wanted to make the first connection, even though, they knew that they was destined to be together. I'm like, sometimes it be like that, but like, yo, you waste so much time just being petty, right? So anyways, so now we're going to get to her sixth husband. So it comes to a point where Evelyn and Harry's like, I want a divorce because, well, no, I lied. So Max had hit Evelyn up. It was like, listen, I need you to leave Harry. I really love you. I want to be with you, this, that, and the third. So Evelyn falls for it, like, she really thinks that she could love Max, because Max is the French director that gave her basically her life back, so she started feeling like someone feelings for him. And so she's like, all right. So she brings the idea to Harry. Harry's like, all right, we've been married this long, it is what it is. I got my family, this, that, and the third. So, and Harry's still torn up about John's death because he really loved John, right? And Harry thought that he couldn't be with nobody else and this, that, and third. So he's just living for his daughter at this point. So Max, she divorced Harry, her and Max get together. She thinks that Max loves her, right? Max doesn't love her. Max loves the idea of being with her. Max loves the idea of Evelyn being on his arm because it makes him look good. He never loved Evelyn. Evelyn loved him. And it got to the point where it's like, yo, like, Evelyn was confused because she realized after they got married that he didn't love her. He loved the idea of her, and now she was stuck in a marriage, and she wanted it to work. She really, really wanted it to work. But Max just couldn't do it. right? So, and then at this time when she's with Max, she had won her first Oscar. So, you know, she finally achieved everything that she wanted to do. So she had made a speech, and the speech low-key was directed towards Celia, basically like, you know, thank you to everybody, to the person that I love the most, blah blah blah, you for supporting me, thank you, you know. And she's talking about Celia. So her and Max is married, right? So she's not happy, she's not none of that. So during this time, Celia and Evelyn end up rekindling. So cause Harry was like, yo, you could hit up Celia, you know, and let her know how you feel. Cause Evelyn's at the type of time where, all right, I fulfill my dreams, I fulfill my goals. It was never about the money. I got everything I wanted to achieve, but you know, I'm losing out on something. I'm losing out on Celia. So she writes a letter to Celia, she becomes a bigger person. Writes a letter to Celia. Celia writes a letter back. So now they communicate through letters, apologize and stuff like that. Evelyn then asked Celia to see her. So they agreed to meet up, and you know, I just thought that was so beautiful. You know, you write your little love notes and stuff like that, and you rekindling a connection. So they meet up at dinner. Evelyn basically tells Celia, like, listen, I want to be with you. I love you. I don't care what the world says. I'm willing to come out as lovers. It is what it is. I have nothing more to lose. I have nothing less to lose. I want to be with you. I'm going to put you first. So Evelyn finally realized, like, yo, I need to put my relationship first. I've only really loved you. I have lost myself. And in the book, she starts realizing like she changed her identity. She lost her identity and stuff like that, especially her Cuban heritage. And she didn't like that. She was trying to get it back. And she was just like, at this point, she don't care what people think. And I was like, yes, get your old self back, sis, because that's who you need to be. So Celia then drops a bomb on her. Celia tells Evelyn, like, listen, I basically have 10 years to live. I'm dying. I got this disease. Evelyn's like, what? What can we do this, that, and third? So Evelyn's like, you know, listen, I'm going to be with you. I'm going to stand by you. I got you. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. But she's realizing, like, you know, she's about to lose her lover again. So long story short, sorry, let me pause. At this time, Evelyn's daughter's also going through a whole bunch of trials and tribulations as far as... Oh no, I didn't skip a part. I'm good. So they rekindle, whatever. Right? So this is where stuff started getting sad. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. So Evelyn had approached Harry, let Harry know, you know, Connor is going through, I believe that's the daughter name. Connor is going through a lot. She needs to change the scenery or whatever. So, and they want to move to Spain. So Celia and Evelyn wanted to move to Spain so they could live a free life. You know, they could be who they want to be. They could be lovers without having to hide. And nobody really truly knew them over there. So Harry's like, oh, nah, I don't want you to move. So it just so happened that Harry had told Evelyn, like, I met another guy. I fell in love with him. I didn't think I could love him, but I don't want to move because I don't want this relationship, right? So this is where it starts. Shit gotta get real. Let me fast forward. So one day, right, Evelyn hopped in a taxi. So the taxi driver talking like, oh, you Evelyn Hugo, whatever. He won't shut up. You know them drivers who won't shut up, right? So Evelyn, they driving. So they come past an accident. The car's wrapped around the motherfucking tree. So Evelyn like looking like, I'm like, what you looking at? So Evelyn was like, no. So guess what, guys? So Evelyn hops out the car, right? Goes to the car, the accident. It's Harry. So Harry's in the driver's seat, and his lover is in the passenger seat, right? So Evelyn started thinking fast. Like, she knew that Harry being in the driver's seat would bring Brad press. Because, like I said, Evelyn was a real one. So she wanted to save his career and all that. She also wanted to save his life. So Evelyn's like, yo, to the driver, help me move Harry, right? So they take Harry out the car. They put Harry in the taxi. They move his lover into the driver's seat. So they leave, hit the driver. The driver's already dead. So they bring Harry to the hospital. Evelyn is covered in blood and all that. So Harry's in surgery. Harry's not gonna make it. So Evelyn finds a letter in Harry's pocket, right? And the letter is from the lover that was in the car. Basically saying like, I can't leave my family. I truly love you, stuff like that. Because the lover was undercover. Because Harry's death really hurt me, guys. And Harry ended up dying in a hospital, right? And that really broke Evelyn. So Connor and Evelyn end up moving to Spain after Harry's death, right? So then, first of all, they violated. They left my man, the lover, to die, shit like that. But the driver also got something out of Evelyn. So the driver's basically like, I hope you do this. What you gonna do for me? So Evelyn, gave him some contacts, got him a role, and the taxi driver blew up, and he used that circumstance, and I commend him for that. I fucked him for that, but Harry died. Let me drink some wine. So, Evelyn Celia moved to Spain, right? And Celia's like, listen, I gotta put my affairs in order. So Celia now comes up with a plan, right? So Celia is basically like, listen, I want you to, hold on, let me make sure I get it right. All right, so before they move, sorry, I forgot a part. Oh, the camera's shaking. So before they move, Evelyn basically told, Celia basically had to plan with Evelyn, like, you're gonna be seen with a congressman, and that basically, low-key, you're gonna paint Max as a bitter ex. Because I forgot an important part. While Max and Evelyn was married, Max ended up finding Celia and Evelyn's letter because they were secretly writing the letters. Max decided that he was going to out her as a dyke. Evelyn was like, I don't give a damn what you do. I don't care. We getting a divorce. Max didn't want Evelyn to leave him. So low-key, Celia hatched a plan that would paint Max as a bitter ex boyfriend if he ever presented that she was gay. So once they got a divorce, Max started putting rumors out that Evelyn is gay, which is not a rumor. Celia was like, you're gonna be seen with a congressman. So anytime Evelyn got caught with a man, they was like, yo, how is she gay and she's messing with all these dudes? You know what I'm saying? So the plan worked. They moved to Spain. They fall madly in love in Spain again. This, that, and third. Next thing you know, Evelyn and Celia was like, listen, let's get married. So they get married while they laying in bed, and I thought it was the most beautiful thing. There was no past, no nothing. It was just them, two people in love. And I think that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody think that to be married, you have to have a piece of paper and a ring. No, I feel like marriage, if you soulmates or whatever you say, and the love is there and it's truly real, a marriage is just a spoken bond between two people. Do you even really need a ring? Do you even need a piece of paper to show that you're married? Drop it in the comments. You know what I'm saying? I love that part. That part made me want to believe in love. Made me want to be like, let me go search for my partner. But and then it ended after I read the book. But anyway, so yeah. So Celia and Evelyn live happy ever after. Then Celia ends up dying. So before that, I forgot a part. Damn. So Celia also, before she died, let's rewind a little bit. Celia also, in the plan to paint Max as the bitter ex-husband, Celia told Evelyn that, listen, I want you to marry my brother so that when I die, you are in charge of my estate. So Evelyn ends up marrying Celia's brother. They all had moved to Spain together, and the brother wanted that family structure. He was a playboy. He wanted that family structure, and he was, they marriage lasted a while, and then he eventually died. She was in charge of the estate. So after that, Celia died, the brother died, and then Evelyn's daughter also died. She died of breast cancer, I believe. So she's living, now that everybody that she ever truly loved has died, it's just her. So she starts reflecting on her life, like, I basically chose my career over the wrong thing. I thought that I needed career to fulfill me. Well, it was mostly love and family that I needed to fulfill me. She realized that after everybody that she loved was gone. So now let's go back to the end. So after she finished telling Monique her whole life story, Monique is just like, all right, damn. So Evelyn finally drops the ball on Monique. She was like, listen, she was like, listen, you see me as a good person, but I'm not a good person. There's one final thing. So Evelyn gives, here's the piece, guys. So Evelyn gives Monique the letter that she took from Harry's pocket, right? So for years, Monique grew up hating her father. As far as she loved her father, but she hated him because the story that she knew was that her father was driving drunk, and that's how he died in an accident, right? So come to find out, the guy that Harry was in love with in the car that died was Monique's dad. So now Monique mad, like, you bitch, this, that, and the third. How you gonna do this to me, this, that, and the third? You made me believe that my father was driving drunk and he was innocent, this, that, and the third. But not only that, she just found out her father was gay. Her father was a black man. So you already got, he's a black man. He's gay. And then during the time she read the letter, she found out that, her father was never going to leave his family for Harry. And he was like, he loves his family too much to ever break their heart. And I respected that. That's some real shit. I respected that. You putting your happiness aside for your family. I understand that. I do. And he also learned that, Monique also learned that her mother and father was never really in love, but they loved each other enough. And that was dope. And so she ends up getting mad and walking out. So the next day, she goes back to the house. Evelyn's glad to see her because Evelyn thought that, Monique hated her for that big secret. Evelyn was just on the type of time like, you need to know, I'm not giving you my tell-all book to make amends or whatever. You truly deserved it because I read some of your pieces, but you needed to know. And I respect Evelyn for that. She was very blunt about it. But when I was reading, something wasn't sitting right, guys. I'm like, yo, there's something else. So the way Evelyn was speaking to Monique, it was like, yo, at first I thought because Evelyn, sorry, I forgot this part. Evelyn told Monique that she had cancer and she was dying from it. So the way Evelyn was speaking, I'm thinking that she's about to die soon from cancer. So that as the book goes on, I didn't realize this. Monique got the sense that, Evelyn was going to commit suicide because Evelyn had sent her housemaid away on a vacation with her family. Evelyn was taking pictures for magazines and stuff like that, doing things that she said she'll never do again, right? So Evelyn was basically like, I'm sorry, I'm glad I got this out, and thank you for everything. So when Monique finally left Evelyn's house, she realized like, yo, Evelyn lived on her own terms. Evelyn is gonna die on her own terms. Evelyn is gonna kill herself tonight. So Monique was like basically conflicting with herself, like, yo, am I gonna stop her or whatever? So she was like basically, nah, like, this is how Evelyn wants to go, and she respected it. Coming to find out, Evelyn died from an overdose. They basically thought that, she died because she took too much pills from her cancer, whatever. And that was that. Monique ends up staying with her job. She writes the magazine, but she also writes the tell-all book. And her life changes, and I was just happy. I'm like, damn. I did not see the part where her father was with Harry, who and her father was gay. That shit took me out, y'all. Like, me saying it gives no justice. Like, you actually have to read it, right? Because I was reading the book and I was like, wait a minute, that's not, because when Evelyn was talking about the letter, I'm like, nah, that's not about to happen. And then that happened. All in all, guys, I try not to spoil too much in the book. This is one juicy ass book. I recommend this book. I recommend a lot of books, but I recommend this book. Is juicy. It's gonna keep you engaged. I like the Evelyn's character. She was a real one. You know, I understood why she did what she did, and you know, it sucked, but she was fulfilled in her life as far as career wise. But towards the end, she realized like her identity. She lost her identity. She lost the people that she loved, and her true purpose in life was to actually find love and not a career. You know, basically, and I don't think she really died happy. You know, towards the end, she finally got to be with the love of her life until the love of her life was taken. But you know, that's what it is. But I love the book. If you read the book, drop in the comments. Follow me on Instagram at Wine Down with Books with your girl. Drink your wine. And until next time, guys, I'm out.